The wind howled through the desolate landscape as I stumbled through an otherworldly void. The air was thick with an eerie silence that sent shivers down my spine. I had no memory of how I ended up here, surrounded by featureless landscapes that seemed to stretch on forever. The ground beneath my feet was an unsettling mix of pixelated blocks, and the sky above was a chaotic blend of colors that danced like a surreal nightmare. Panic set in as I realized that I was lost in this liminal space, a realm that seemed to defy the laws of reality. I wandered through the pixelated maze, each step echoing with an unsettling click. The landscape shifted and changed, creating a disorienting sense of déjà vu. My surroundings were a bizarre mix of memories and impossibilities, a place where time itself seemed to lose its grip. As I stumbled through the bizarre terrain, I noticed a dark figure in the distance. It was a blocky creature, its eyes glowing in ominous shade. It approached slowly, its movements unnatural, sending a chill down my spine. Fear gripped me, and I quickened my pace, desperately searching for an exit from this nightmarish realm. Suddenly, the ground gave way beneath me, and I found myself falling through a dark abyss. My screams were swallowed by the void as I plummeted into the unknown. But just when I thought I was lost forever, I landed on solid ground. To my surprise, the surroundings were no longer pixelated and strange. I stood in a dimly lit room with walls made of concrete. Tables and chairs were scattered about, and the faint hum of fluorescent lights filled the air. It was a stark contrast to the surreal landscapes I had just traversed. Confused but relieved, I explored the room and stumbled upon a chalkboard covered in mathematical equations. My eyes widened as I recognized the quadratic formula scrawled across the board. It seemed out of place, yet strangely familiar. A sudden realization hit me. This bizarre liminal space was, in fact, a manifestation of the Minecraft world, and the quadratic formula held the key to my escape. With newfound determination, I focused on the mathematical problem at hand. As I solved the quadratic equation, the room around me began to glitch and warp. The pixelated blocks returned, swirling and shifting until they formed the familiar landscape of Minecraft. The dark figure from before faded away, and the wind returned, carrying the sounds of the blocky world. I found myself standing at the entrance of a cave, the mouth of which glowed with the welcoming light of torches. I stepped through, leaving the surreal liminal space behind. The transition was seamless, and before I knew it, I was back in the real world. My heart was still racing from the bizarre journey. The experience left me questioning the boundaries of reality, haunted by the memory of pixelated landscapes and mysterious equations. As I walked away from the cave, I couldn't shake the feeling that, somewhere out there, the boundary between our world and the pixelated realms of Minecraft was thinner than we could ever imagine. The road stretched out before me like an endless ribbon of asphalt as I drove through the desolate night. The glow of the dashboard lights provided the only solace in the darkness, but my heart raced with each passing mile. I had taken a wrong turn, and now the unfamiliar landscape seemed to warp and twist around me. As I continued down the eerie road, the surroundings became increasingly surreal. The trees morphed into blocky shapes, and the road beneath me turned into a pixelated mosaic. Panic set in, and I desperately tried to make sense of the bizarre transformation. The once familiar world had slipped away, leaving me stranded in a liminal space that defied all logic. My hands tightened around the steering wheel as I navigated through a pixelated cityscape. The buildings rose like towering monoliths, their blocky structures casting eerie shadows on the digital ground. A sense of isolation enveloped me, and the only sound was the hum of the engine and the distant echoes of my footsteps on the pixelated pavement. Suddenly, my car came to a halt. The road ahead vanished into a glitched void, leaving me with no choice but to step out and confront the surreal landscape. The air hung heavy with uncertainty as I cautiously walked through the pixelated maze, my footsteps echoing in the strange, silent realm. In the distance, I saw a flicker of light. As I approached, I realized it was an ethereal portal, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Hesitant but desperate to escape, I stepped through, finding myself in a vast, pixelated realm that echoed with the sounds of 1,000 digital adventures. To my surprise, I stood in the heart of Roblox, a world I had only known through the screens of my computer. The towering structures, colorful landscapes, and the odd assortment of blocky characters surrounded me. It was both fascinating and unsettling. a reality that defied the rules of the physical world. As I wandered through this digital wonderland, I stumbled upon a peculiar sight, a glowing computer terminal. The screen displayed a message, "Escape with the power of NVIDIA RTX." Confused, but determined, I activated the terminal, unleashing the full force of NVIDIA RTX graphics. The surroundings shimmered and transformed. The pixelated landscapes became vivid and realistic. The blocky characters took on lifelike details. And the once silent world echoed with the sounds of a living, breathing environment. The power of NVIDIA RTX had bridged the gap between the virtual and the real. With a newfound clarity, I navigated my way through the transformed Roblox world. The once intimidating structures now appeared as breathtaking architecture, and the glitched void that had trapped me evaporated into a picturesque horizon. As I approached the edge of the digital realm, the portal from which I entered reappeared. I stepped through, leaving the surreal liminal space behind. The world outside greeted me with the familiar hum of the engine and the glow of the dashboard lights. As I drove away from the bizarre experience, I couldn't shake the feeling that the boundary between reality and the digital realms was more fragile than anyone could have imagined. The memory of pixelated landscapes and the power of NVIDIA RTX lingered, a reminder that sometimes the escape from the unknown requires technology as extraordinary as the worlds it could create. I awoke in a place that defied all reason. The air hung heavy with an otherworldly stillness, and the surroundings were a chaotic blend of colors and shapes that seemed to dance on the edge of my consciousness. Panic surged through me as I tried to make sense of my bizarre surroundings. My hands moved before my eyes, and to my bewilderment, they were blocky and pixelated. I looked down at my body, and a sinking realization set in. I was Steve, the iconic character from Minecraft. My surroundings were composed of pixelated blocks, each one vibrating with an energy that defied the laws of reality. As I stumbled through the surreal landscape, I encountered towering mountains and deep valleys, all made of pixelated material. The sky above me was a swirling mix of colors, and the air resonated with the strange hum of a digital world. My mind struggled to comprehend the absurdity of my situation. I ventured further, each step echoing with a strange clicking sound. The world seemed both infinite and confined, a paradoxical space that challenged the very fabric of my understanding. My attempts to wake myself from this bizarre dream proved futile, as the pixelated landscape stretched on without end. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the pixelated air. "Experience gaming like never before with the new AMD Ryzen processors," it declared. The words were vibrating through the very fabric of this strange realm. It was then that I realized the source of my surreal predicament. An otherworldly gaming experience induced by the cutting-edge technology of the AMD Ryzen processors. As I continued to navigate the pixelated landscape, the voice explained that the profound gaming experience was made possible by the large amounts of 3D cache in the AMD Ryzen processors. The processors had unlocked a new level of immersion beyond anything I could have imagined, blurring the lines between reality and the virtual world. With this revelation, the boundaries of the pixelated dream began to dissolve. The world around me glitched and warped until I found myself back in my own bed, bathed in the soft glow of my gaming setup. The AMD Ryzen logo on the screen served as a reminder of the extraordinary experience I had just emerged from. Relief washed over me as I realized I was no longer trapped in the pixelated realm of Minecraft. The vivid dreamscape, brought to life by the power of AMD Ryzen, had transported me to a place that felt both fantastical and disconcertingly real. As I lay there, contemplating the surreal journey, I couldn't shake the feeling that the boundary between gaming and reality had become blurred. The profound experience left me in awe of the technological advancements that could shape our perceptions and transport us to realms beyond our wildest imagination.